All right, so
But
let's
what it,
talk about this AEW ticket party. I think that's what it was for the Double or Nothing, and it was this huge event. You had SCU, you had all these new signings, you had the Chinese people come in, and it was a whole big thing. Kenny Omega, of course, was the main attraction. So, what did you think overall about this event?
productive, and I enjoyed it. I think it's an alternative. I don't. I'm excited for it. I'm actually genuinely excited because I think they're going to provide a good product, and I think it'll be good.
What do you
And
think about what
competition's not
Booker
bad.
T said? You saw what he said.
Uh, didn't he say something about Christopher Daniels? I don't know what he said. I was
He
actually
said
watching his.
Christopher Daniels and Kazarian shouldn't be in this new promotion because it reminds him too much of TNA.
That's an. I mean, that's irrelevant. I don't know how Christopher Daniels and Kazarian were not of any power in TNA, and they're both not only are they both phenomenal workers. Still, I think Christopher Daniels is like 51 now, but
If anything's gonna resemble TNA more, it would be WWE SmackDown. AJ Styles,
yeah,
Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy. They have all
yeah.
these
So I
TNA
don't.
guys on there.
I respect Booker and I love Booker, but and he explained himself. I was watching a video earlier today. I didn't understand all of it because I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" But he explained himself and he said he didn't mean to offend anyone. So I don't take like shit people say like that.
Yeah, I
With
mean,
like,
I respect Booker.
yeah, of course, he's a fucking legend and he knows what the fuck he's talking about. But that I don't agree with. I think Kazarian and Christopher Daniels have more of a backstage role than anything. I think they're going to be agents.
Yeah,
Which
probably.
actually, I don't know if you know this, but real quick sidebar: did you know that Christopher Daniels was supposed to be the higher power in that storyline with Stone Cold and Vince McMahon?
Really.
He was supposed to be the fallen angel, yeah, back in '99 when he was like, "It's me, Austin." It was supposed to be him, but then they didn't do it because they said he was too small. Just a sidebar, but
Huh.
anyways, I enjoyed the event. I like the Kenny Omega Chris Jericho stuff. I was really excited for the um, when Pentagon and his brother were there, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently his brother might have suffered an injury, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But I'm excited though. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. They have a good roster, honestly.
Just one more thing before we move on to the main topic. What do you think about about AEW signing these having these partnerships with first of all that Chinese company which I'd never heard of before, and also AAA, which might cause some tensions if they really want to eventually work with New Japan. They can't work with AAA because they're AAA and New Japan, as you know, are not friendly with each other.
Well, New Japan is under new management now. Gato doesn't run it, so I don't.
So they
I
might
think
just
if
stick with Ring of Honor for the
yeah,
foreseeable future.
but I think it's a smart move. You have to. They're starting from even they have this con money. There's billionaires behind them. I think they said one of them said that like the budget was 100 million. Like that's what they invested into this initially.
Yeah,
Even if you have money, if you don't have distribution and marketing, it doesn't matter. So
they're probably
you
gonna
know
get a
what?
good TV deal,
A pa-
better than TNA.
I would have to imagine if they have like Chris Jericho sign, and Chris Jericho said he's like, I'm not going to sign if they don't have something good lined up. So
And
that
this is something that people don't talk about, but SmackDown being on prime time, like on a regular channel like Fox, is really going to increase the stock of wrestling as a whole. Like people are going to be more
yeah.
interested in the product in the entire industry because it's going to be more accessible to more people. So it might actually, another network's going to be like, hey, maybe we want to get in on that, and maybe that would make
Yeah, it might benefit
AEW more attractive.
AEW.
Yeah,
I think AEW is going to be good for
because
the
that's never really
culture.
happened before. I think SmackDown was
No,
on channel was on My Nine, which is supposed to be like a public channel, but I knew a lot of people that didn't have it for some reason. So
yeah, I think this company as a whole is going to do a lot of good, and
so
it definitely has WWE worried. You could tell that for a fact.
yeah, Kenny and Chris Jericho. It's going to be an interesting continuing that feud from New Japan. So that's probably going to
That's,
be at. I don't know if it's going to headline Double or Nothing. If they're going to like crown the first AEW champion, I don't know. They
no,
haven't
I don't
announced
think
those
they'll have a
details yet.
title, but that'll definitely headline the show as it should. I don't think anything else should. Like, but I'm excited for it. But
So
you've been dying to get to this topic, so
let's
go
talk
ahead.
about yeah. Let's talk about Nyla Rose. So I saw this woman come down And I was, I was like, this chick looks like a dude, and I was like, that's, oh man, that's so mean. Like, why would you say that? But something about, I mean, about her facial structure made me like, yeah, that's a dude. And I heard her voice. She sounded very masculine. I'm like, oh boy, they 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 signed a transgender to AEW to, like, okay, I don't even know where to start. How about you share your thoughts on this, and then I'll let you know what I think, because yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. I think a lot of people are making it a big deal, and you're
Do you
making
think
it a
it's a
big
big
deal.
deal in the sense that it's historic that they signed the first
Yeah,
transgender?
yeah, yeah. Obviously, but in terms of a big deal, like it's not gonna. Everyone's like flustered about it, like, wow, they signed a first gender, like a transgender. Like, yeah, you know what? I think it knocks down the barrier for other transgender people. Like, listen, you know what? That is none of my business. Whatever you do, whatever that shit is, none of my business. Like, I'm here
Can
to
I
watch
ask your
wrestling.
opinion on Fallon Fox, who's a transgender MMA fighter, who is a woman, a transgender woman that
That's a bit different.
fights women?
That I don't agree with, and you can't make a comparison because we all know wrestling, although it is real, it's a scripted sport. So, uh, whether it's a woman versus woman, man versus man, anyone has the chance of getting hurt doing anything. Just because it's a transgender, maybe in the women's division, doesn't make it highly like a risk to these people of getting hurt.
No,
That's
but
that.
I wasn't suggesting that.
Yeah, but still, at the end of the day, I don't find it as a big deal in terms of like people are getting upset about it. I think it's a big deal. Like, okay, like this is revolutionary, and obviously you're naive if you think that this is only because it's revolutionary. Obviously, part of this is for political reasons in terms of showing that they accept everyone, and it's good PR. They get more eyes on them, more money. But you know what? It's nothing wrong with it. WWE does shit like that all the time.
I
They
am
took advantage of
very
you know.
nervous about, already. They haven't even had a single wrestling show yet, and they are getting pretty. They're not afraid to dip their toes in political and social issues, which is, not a good move in my opinion, honestly.
I
So like, not,
disagree.
it wasn't just this. Like, this is just, the second thing. The first thing that was a red flag in my opinion, was when AEW had that first, remember, they had that first press conference when Chris Jericho, it was revealed that Chris Jericho signed a deal with them. That was the big thing. That was the first thing they had. They announced a lot of things. They announced the Double or Nothing show, and then they also announced another show that's coming in July in, I forget what city, but they're having a second show, and I don't know if you caught this part, but all the proceeds to that show is gonna go to gun control, basically. So I like, okay, it doesn't matter what you think about that position. We're obviously not going to debate that issue, but I don't think wrestling promotions being political, like, you have to admit what Vince McMahon does. He's clearly affiliated with his wife is in the Trump administration, and they're obviously, they're Republican, but they don't advertise that kind of stuff either. Like, they're pretty neutral when it comes to political issues. Like, they let their wrestlers, like Seth Rollins is, he posts political stuff every now and then, and they don't really like punish people for talking about it, but the company as a whole stays out of it, which I think is probably the best way to go. I think AEW getting into political and social things like this is probably not good business.
That I can agree with somewhat. I mean, here's the thing: people when they watch wrestling, it's the same thing with football. I'm not stating opinion. Listen, you can agree with something what Colin Kaepernick did. You cannot agree, whatever it is. I understand when people turn to football, they don't want to see politics. They want to see football, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you have an audience and you have a message to convey, whether I think it's right, whether I think it's wrong, that's what they believe in. And so if they want to convey that message, I mean, I can't knock them for doing it, but I want to be like involved in politics when I'm watching fucking wrestling? Not really. But I mean,
Yeah.
like if the proceeds are gonna go somewhere, listen, like, it's their money, and I think they're gonna do it in a way where it's not gonna be uh like how WWE used to plug the network like 9.99 every 5 seconds. I don't think they're gonna plug it like, hey, by the way, like during the commentatings of the show or in between everything's going to gun control. Like if this is what they believe in, fine. But I understand why people would be annoyed about it because they don't want to get involved with that, which I get it.
Oh yeah, that
But to
show is
me,
gonna. By the way, I remember now. That show's gonna be in that general area where that. Remember that big school shooting last year, Parkland, Florida? It's gonna be there, so that's why they're doing that.
I mean, listen, if that's what they believe in, they think it's a good business move. I'll support it. Good for them. I don't think it's a bad business move. I don't think it's a good business move. I just think it's them doing business.
Mm.
There's obviously positives to it and there's negatives to it.
I don't know. I mean, I also don't think like these politically correct social justice types are really the type of people that watch wrestling. Like, I don't think they're really aiming
Well,
for the right
maybe
audience here, but that's just my opinion.
you know what? But let's be honest. The people who do watch wrestling and who are avid wrestling fans, and a lot of them are shitting on AEW. A lot of them love it, but they know if they're ever going to compete, and they've said it multiple times, their goal is not to compete. Their goal is to give an alternative. They need to do something different. So it seems really what it seems like it is. It's more of like this is just a company to be completely different at WWE. That's what it seems like it is. WWE's focused on storytelling, and although they haven't been lately, or it hasn't been good, whatever. Though they're focused on like storytelling, not heavy on wrestling, and like good PR and doing good shit like that. This company seems to be focused on wrestling
I
and
can
stuff
imagine
that.
though, women on this roster. I'm pretty sure a lot of the women aren't going to agree with this. Like, it's probably going to be a very controversial thing. Like, especially if this individual becomes in the like becomes a part of like the women's title picture and actually wins the women's championship. Like, I feel like a
Well, we
lot
don't
of
know
women
that.
wouldn't be happy with that.
I think they only have like 4 or 5 women signed so far, and I
But
think
I'm saying if it
when
expands into this thing, who knows?
well, then they don't have to sign. I mean, it's kind of simple as that. That's the thing. We can't tell what someone's going to feel. Obviously, there's going to be women who don't support it, and there's going to be women who do support it. So that's their decision if they want to work in a company with that. But I also think that person, that individual, will compete in the men's division as well. I don't see it going only one way. It's kind of like how we spoke about the Nia Jax, Dean Ambrose thing, where like Nia Jax is a credible person to fight on both rosters. Okay, well, I mean, technically speaking, this person can be too.
I
So
guess.
I understand. I understand the other side, though. I do. I mean, to me, though, it doesn't. Like, my jimmies aren't rustled by this.
I don't know. It's just part of me doesn't sit well with me. But on the other hand, I don't really care too much about AEW anyway. To be honest, like the hype. It's like as of right now, they're just a T-shirt company. Remember that. Like they just have T-shirts. They don't actually
That's
have a
the other
product yet.
thing. That's the other thing. AEW is turned into such a big deal right now, and they haven't run one single show. That's what I feel. That's what I'm very afraid of is their downfall because people are putting such high expectations to it. They're doing all these things. They're
Remember
all this
Global Force
talk, all this
Wrestling? How
press.
big deal that was?
Exactly. Yeah, and we don't know if it's going to deliver. I mean, obviously, you got amazing, great, talented, put good teams behind them, but we don't know if it's going to deliver. So when we put this expectation on this, it's kind of worrisome. It's like, all right, well, maybe we should let it happen first. Like, I don't have a solid opinion on the company. I think it could be beneficial, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to run. I don't know it. I don't know much about it, and no one does. No one knows anything except the people that are inside the company. And that's really my biggest concern about it, is that it's going to flop because everyone put too much expectations on it and too much pressure. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, I just don't think it's either way. Like, I don't think it's good business when you're a new promotion that's just starting off to like make these type of political statements. No matter what side it is, it's just it'll automatically turn people off that haven't even watched your product yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course, because if you go one way and then the other side is going to be like, oh, fuck that, I don't want to watch it. I'll just rather watch WWE or some shit. So there's
And no
validity
matter
to
what your
that.
position is, there are a lot of people in this country that have a problem with the whole transgender thing, and they might be turned off by this.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with PR, and I think they just want to get a bigger crowd. I don't, not that I don't think the actions they're doing are genuine, like they want to genuinely help, and you know, because I
Well,
do believe that.
keep
But
in mind that the transgender population is what, like 0.4% of the U.S. population, so it's not like they're going for a huge, a huge group of
no, but
people.
even more than that, forget the transgender thing. I mean, obviously that's part of it, but more the political side of it. Like I think they're really trying to go for different populations rather than just wrestling fans. Like I think they want to draw people in. Like the one thing Jericho keeps talking about is like, yeah, I'm a household name. I'm a household name. These people aren't. I think they're trying to get known, and by getting known, they got to do certain things. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it more of it is. Trying to get the company off the ground, getting people talking. Hey, did you hear about this? Did you hear about all these things that are going on?
But overall, do you think this is gonna like change the industry? Like maybe down the line, WWE is gonna do this or something like that.
Uh, I feel like this. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think it's going to change it in a major way, but I'm sure there'll be some changes to it, but I don't think it's going to be like a crazy impact, which maybe I'm wrong. I mean, but I do think it's a positive thing, the transgender part of it at least,
Yeah.
letting them wrestle.
I
Because
mean,
there's,
I kind of disagree, but I'm not gonna get into the whole, that whole thing. To be honest, like this is a wrestling channel. I'm not gonna get into like these social political issues because, quite frankly, if you're watching this channel for wrestling
watching it for
analysis,
wrestling,
you don't give a shit
you
about
don't,
what I think. If you
exactly,
do,
and
you'll
you don't
watch my
care about,
political videos. You're not gonna watch my wrestling videos. So that's
yeah,
why I don't. And that's
basically.
why I have so much more to say, but I'm not gonna say it because you don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand that point of view.
But we're just
All,
analyzing it from a wrestling point of view and from a business point of view because that's really what matters here more than anything
From a
else.
business point of view, it's a double edged sword. But you gotta think of which side is gonna benefit more. Is it? And we don't know until the business really starts because the business hasn't started yet. So obviously they're gonna garner attention by doing this. But it's like okay, the attention is good, but is it gonna result in profits? So it can
That's
really go either way.
pretty much it then, right?
Yeah, I mean what? All I know is fuck Dave Meltzer, and I don't know what more else to say.
Okay, what does Dave Meltzer have to do with transgender wrestlers?
Just don't like Dave Meltzer.
Okay.